everything I do, I still feel like it adds to the New Day resume or the New Day legacy. I still feel like, hey, I'm here to earn for my squad, for my family, for my team. And that's still my perspective, man, because I don't get here without those guys.
Hey there, everyone. Rick Ucchino here again for Sportskeeda Wrestling out on the road, the Mortgage Fieldhouse in Cleveland, Ohio, ahead of SmackDown. You know who this man is. Two-time Intercontinental Champion, 11-time Tag Team Champion, member of the New Day, and most importantly, look at it. Look at it in all of its gloriousness right here. Mr. Money in the Bank, Big E. How are we doing, sir?
We are good. We are good. Yeah, we're real good. Yeah.
Has it hit you yet?
It has. It's been incredible, honestly. It's been overwhelmingly positive. And you know, it's like everyone is split. And the thing too is there's so many talented people in that match. You know, I felt like there are a lot of people I'm sure pulling for Kevin and for Riddle and for so many other people in that match. But I was just really appreciative. Like, it was overwhelmingly and resoundingly positive, at least from the response that I saw. So yeah, man, it is very heartwarming, and I blushed a lot. There was a lot of blushing for me, just to get the love from my peers, from fans and whatnot. So it was very, very cool.
It was an insane match too. I mean, you look back on it, like freaking Ricochet jumping off the top of the ladder.
Wild man.
Kevin Owens like right down on top of the spine on top of the ladder. I mean, there were a lot of really insane spots in that match. It was a banger for sure.
Yeah, and as soon as I saw the lineup for it, I knew it was going to be a banger. So I had no doubts either. It just and that was one of the really cool things. I think obviously like winning the briefcase is very, very cool too, but the fact that the match was so good and the moment at the end felt so good is what made it even more special. It felt like everything aligned the perfect way for me.
Yeah, I was watching it, and it's like when you get up to Seth, right, and then you give him the huge ending off of the ladder.
Yeah.
I'm like, I can't remember the last time he actually like hit an offensive maneuver in the match. Like, you were taking a lot of punishment in there, and then, but it's all about how you finish.
Yeah.
Right? All about how you finish.
Right.
And that was such a great ending, and then you get up there and you grab the briefcase. Crowd goes nuts. You're giving us the Big E reaction, but then there's that moment where you just kind of fell on top of yourself. Like, what was going through your mind at that time?
I guess for me, it's obviously there's a pure excitement and that you want to show people. Obviously, this means a lot to you. But then it was just, that moment was just kind of just a moment to reflect for me. Just a moment to just kind of put my head down and not look at people and just to be thankful, man. I'm thankful I get to still do cool things in my career. We've been really blessed as a unit, the three of us, to have done some really cool things, whether it's breaking a record that stood for 20 years, holding the tag titles for 483 days, whether it's promo segs with The Rock, being voted the greatest tag team of all time, and people could feel how they want to, but I'm just extremely thankful. I'm really thankful, man. It's been a great career. Maybe I could have been world champion by now and had multiple reigns, but it's pretty close to perfect, man. Just being able to work with two guys that I consider brothers, that's a very real bond that has not waned for us at all. And then, to have this and to have that kind of moment, I'm wildly grateful.
You were present. Like in person, like right there, close in person, to see two of my favorite world title wins of all time, which was Kofi at WrestleMania, but then also Dolph Ziggler on Raw for his Money in the Bank cash-in. Seems like forever ago. What do you remember most about that night, being there with that crowd when his music hit, and then such great drama there where, you think maybe he's going to blow it with Del Rio, and then he hits a zigzag 1, 2, 3, and everybody's losing their minds. What do you remember most about that?
Man, that was wild. That was the night after WrestleMania. I also remember, if I'm not mistaken, I think that was the same night I accidentally swung my arm and hit AJ in the chest.
I wasn't going to bring it up.
Right. But I did it, and I know I did it. But thankfully, she was okay, and we were able to have that moment later with Dolph, and blood wasn't streaming down her face at all, thankfully. But yeah, man, I still remember that as one of the loudest pops that I can remember. That pop, that was at the old Izod Center. I remember that being just an incredible pop, an incredible moment. And kind of looking back, I almost felt like maybe I'm just always going to be the bridesmaid, never the bride. I was, like you said, being there for Kofi, being there for Dolph, which still, for me, are very, very cool moments. Honestly, one of the highlights of my career, I consider, is being there in Orlando when the Hardys reunited, just because it's such a cool moment. Even though it wasn't really about me, the fact that we were on stage and got to be there as they came out, and people still replay that. People still, seeing people shoot from their perspective in the seats and seeing them pan over to, like, their friends crying, or just people lose, that's still one of the coolest moments. So, like, I have no problem at all being one of the people kind of in the background of someone else's moment, because it's still, like, it's cool that you're a part of that. But yeah, man, that Dolph moment was really, really special, because Dolph was super hot at the time, and the cash-in, everything about it was so cool. So yeah, I'm grateful. And Kofi Mania, that match, again, I mean, like you said, I've been on the main roster for almost 9 years now. Those two moments, I think, are two of the better moments in WWE since over that stretch, and also, two of the better moments in my career too.
Yeah, and now you're on the verge. You're one step away from now being the bride.
Yes.
From being the world heavyweight champion. And I know you did an interview recently where you said Roman Reigns, he's the guy right now. You want to be the guy to take out the top dog, the big dog, shall we say. But I look over on Raw, and there's an interesting dynamic there, because you have Bobby Lashley, who has had some issues with your boys over on Raw. So there's a little bit of connection there. But also, man, I know you want badly, and Bill Goldberg is now back. So, I mean, there's an interesting dynamic over there on Raw for a potential Big E cash-in.
Yeah, that's the thing, that there's so many things that make sense right now. It just kind of, it just feels like everything is kind of falling into place around the same time, as far as, like you said, having, like, the Bobby thing makes so much sense with what he's done with Kofi and Woods, but also the fact that people still enjoy that nonsensical big meaty man rant. But legit, Goldberg, the fact that, like, it's so full circle to me to even fathom, beating Goldberg and cashing in to become a world champion, because like legit from 25 years ago, roughly, 20-something years ago, Goldberg was my guy, and getting to meet him at a signing, it feels wildly full circle. So that's an option too. But Roman is the guy too, and honestly, we have a pretty storied history in a quiet way. The fact that I've known him for a decade plus. I remember when we were both playing college football, he was all conference at Georgia Tech, and he was one of the guys that I looked at as, like, other defensive tackles who were doing well. So I've known of him for almost 20 years, since college. And Cena too, a guy I've trained at his gym for years, and he supported. So it's interesting that there are now, going into SummerSlam, there's so many of these stories that I think are just naturally open and available for me. So I'm excited, like, any of those options are great options for me.
How does it feel to have coined the phrase bumping meat?
I'm a bit surprised that people enjoy it so much, but it's one of the biggest honors of my career, honestly. And I'm glad that people dig it. I love, randomly, there'll be, even in different promotions, there'll be just two big guys who are about to have a match, and people will tag me in it. So I like being associated. Anytime you see two big dudes or two big ladies, whatever, anytime you see large human beings going at it, if I'm associated with it, God bless.
We were talking about earlier about you being there for two of biggest cash-in. Well, not one cash-in, but two of the biggest world title wins.
Yep.
Obviously, more difficult to do it with having the Money in the Bank, but how much would you like to have Xavier and Woods there when you win the world championship?
Oh yeah, having Kofi and Woods there would be huge, man. It's I know they wanted to run out after I won the briefcase. They were there in Gorilla, but they didn't end up getting that chance to. But everything, I still feel like, and the metaphor that I've used is, I liken it to, we have the New Day cave, and I leave the cave to go gather the fruits and berries and get the fresh meat, because I still feel like everything I do, I still feel like it adds to the New Day resume or the New Day legacy. I still feel like, hey, I'm here to earn for my squad, for my family, for my team. And that's still my perspective, man, because I don't get here without those guys. And yeah, man, of course, I always want to have them along for anything cool that I get to do in this industry.
Tell you what, man, the city of Tampa is blessed right now.
Yeah.
I mean, you talk about winning a Super Bowl, you talk about winning a Stanley Cup. The Rays just traded for Nelson Cruz, and Big E is Mr. Money in the Bank. I mean, that city is, as a Cincinnati guy, I am extremely jealous right now. But I mean, you're getting ready to add to that, man, to the city of Tampa. So good luck. Appreciate it. It's always a joy to talk to you. And yeah, we'll do it again, sir.
I appreciate it. Thank you, man.